GTU, you were right. Oh no. He said, you guys are idiots. You're literally sitting here bashing a guy that moved to take a deal. That this dude in the rainforest is a moron. I've cashed out thousands and I'm a normal guy. Y'all are idiots, Lamau. I'm glad you saw that. I agree they could do whatever. I agree they could do that. Never heard them do it yet. Oh man, listen. I'm glad that you're getting help. In Turkey, we have a saying, zararın neresinden dönersen kârdır. Which means no matter where you turn away from...
Don't believe this guy. He just memorized that line. There's no shot he knows Turkish. I don't believe it.
A loss, it's profit. So, ultimately, you've turned it around. So, that's the good thing, you know? GTU, you were right.
Isn't he ESL? Kind of. He's technically ESL because he didn't learn how to speak English. He didn't learn how to speak any language until he was like 16, so it counts as ESL. Okay, he's not a real Turk. Clip me.
I'm literally shaking.
Oh, sure. I did reset my relationship with Hasan. That is right. My bad. Oh, but then they reset it by editing me out of that Aiden clip because I'm living both their heads rent-free so hard. So never mind. We're back to bad terms with them. Alone with your son? Oh, so small men aren't humans to you? Strike one. Hipper, welcome to the tier 5 subscriber club, dude. He knows Turkish Destiny. He literally left Turkey at 18 years old. Really? Link me one clip of him speaking Turkish at 15. I'll wait. And your name is Historia. Yikes. Imagine naming yourself after one of the worst characters in an already mid-fucking anime. Loser. There's no shot. It's a fucking troll.
Devon.
Probably the best person I've
Dude, I just tried asking some woman for the way on a parking lot and she started yelling at me. This world is fucking crazy, man.
We're done with this meme shit. Courtney, talk to us. Guide us into the future.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about something that is really important when it comes to dating, and that is the topic of income. So despite the 15th
video
there
on
are also
income?
a lot of unrealistic expectations surrounding male income and specifically what we expect a partner to be making. So I have a group of 7 girls here with me today. We're going to be having a conversation about income. I'm going to be asking them some questions and also revealing to them some statistics surrounding male income and the reality of what's going on. Wow. And I really want to stress here in the beginning, the point of these videos is not to make anybody look stupid. It's just to have a conversation.
I'm not red pill, guys, I promise.
Is how we understand and learn about these topics. So without further ado, let's get into it. How old are you?
I'm 25.
I am 25.
I am 24.
I'm 27.
I am 29.
31.
I am 25.
Okay, and then what do you do for a living?
I work as a healthcare reimbursement consultant.
I'm a copywriter.
I am in the life insurance industry.
I am a lead engineer for a software consulting company.
I work at a medical spa.
Ooh.
and I'm in school.
I am a photographer and I also work in data analytics.
So I just graduated, so I'm very, very new at this, but I am a mental health therapist.
And is your partner's income something that's
What are
important to you?
mental health
Not
therapists?
necessarily.
Are there
As
other
long as
types
they're
of
working
therapists?
for
I guess you could be a
themselves and
physical
doing
therapist.
something that
Okay.
they're passionate about.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So you would be totally okay with like contributing 50-50 to the relationship?
I would prefer that.
That's the vibe I was getting.
Yes. I would prefer that mostly because I don't like feeling like love is transactional. I don't like feeling like in an argument, if we're at a low point, someone can hold that over me and be like, well, I paid for this.
Something I've never thought about, well, I say I've never thought about it, but I actually did think about this like a week ago, is when I think about relationships and like men and women, I wonder how much of that was formed by the fact that, I guess in my growth, the people that my life, whatever, like when I think of my wife, I think of my kid's mom, every woman I've dated has been working. I've never been like in a sync relationship, single income, no kids. I feel like I've always had like, I feel like my girlfriends have always worked. Was there a point in time where you dated at like 18, 19, 20 where the
Yo,
girl
Nest,
was
I
not
thought
working?
we were doing politics after Factorio was done.
Yep.
Snoozifist.
This is politics, sociopolitics, because it's not like the 1920s. Yeah, I don't know, I kind of wonder. Because I hear people say like, oh, like both people need to earn money. And like when I grew up, like every girlfriend I'm dating is like working. It's not like somebody's like, you're providing for me at like 19.
And I paid for that because in my head, I'm already keeping track of shit like that you could use over me, and that's just an insecurity that I have. So I wouldn't want someone to be contributing more than that.
So you would...
Was Melina working? Was Melina working? Kind of, but like I had... Basically, the way I worked with Melina is I told her when we started, I met her in New Zealand, and I see a lot of potential. She's young, she's hot, she's Swedish. And I'm like, listen, I love you very much. If you come back to the United States with me, I'll love you, I'll marry you, we'll do whatever, and we can make so much money together. So then I started getting her involved in the streaming stuff. I showed her a way to make a ton of money. I had other girls talk to her to kind of get her into the whole streaming world. I'm just kidding. Wait, you have exes that didn't work either? I'm pretty sure every ex I had, there was that one girl I dated like long distance for like a year. She didn't work, but I mean, that was like kind of a thing. What about Shaylin?
I would want to do more of like the team mentality of like, we're doing this together, we're growing our wealth together, we're throwing things in together rather than like one person being the sole provider.
Oh my God.
Did you ever get Teresa to work for you? No, she worked at the, oh no, I guess she didn't work that much. She worked at the mall actually for a little bit, but she would like quit and then restart depending on how much her manager pissed her off. I guess, maybe not. I'm thinking, I guess, in my early life, like my first wife and my kid's mom, we always worked. That's how we got our first house.
Yes, absolutely yes.
It is important to me, but it's not something that is like a main factor when I'm considering a relationship or a partner.
So you're not asking on the first date, how much money do you make?
Oh my gosh, no.
Yes and no. I do believe that, like, while money isn't everything, unfortunately, with just society and living and the cost of living, it does matter a little bit. It really does. To me, I don't really make great money right now because I'm very new into the workforce.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to judge anybody for pretty much how much they make because I am not making a lot. So I can't be like, oh, you have to make, this much money for me to date you and then not contribute in some way, because that is big for me too. I want to be able to contribute financially and feel like as much as I can that it's equal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of any situation. I feel like if a girl ever asks you how much money do you make on the first date, that's got to be like the most red flag shit in the world. That's like, okay, I'm taking you back to my apartment and I'm fucking you for $200. It's just like, are we doing like a pay for pussy thing here? That's like, I can't imagine somebody asking that on a first date. So how much money do you make? It would be like, what?
So yeah, I mean, yes, it does matter in a sense, but also it's not the end all be all. Like, I don't judge people because if they make like, oh, 40K a year, obviously not great, but I'm like, hey, I'm barely making that. So
Yeah.
who am I to judge?
So you're kind of holding your partner to the same standard you're holding yourself.
Yeah. And
which is fair.
Yeah, and as we get older, sure, our incomes increase, absolutely. And, I'm 25, my partner will probably be in their 20s as well one day, so... Yeah, I mean, we're only going to work up, and so that's
I'm 25 and my partner will be in their 20s one day. Wow. Actual fucking pedophile.
Places to go. So at this point in my life, I don't think it's that big of a deal. No.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you're thinking of it in terms of like we can grow together.
Yes.
Right? Like I'm not waiting for you at the finish line.
Yeah.
Like, we're building this together.
Yeah.
So what is the age of the person that you would want to be with?
I feel like age is important, but I have learned throughout my lifetime that no matter what age they are, they could be 30 and act like a 12-year-old, or they could be 23 and be very, you know, centered and mature. I think at this age of being 25, I've looked like 26 to 32 would be kind of the area or the range I've looked at.
26 to 32.
Okay, so if you had to pick a number, maybe 28.
That's so specific.
28, 29.
I go for a range between the age of 30 and 10 years older than me, ideally 34.
And what would you want his income to be,
Is this woman black or white?
realistically?
Nothing hurts Steven chat. I made and jerk off to deepfake videos of Tiny. There is nothing he can do to stop me. L L L L L L L L L L L L.
Okay, we're at about 55%, 50% black, 38% Latinx.
At this current point in time?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. At this current point in time, at the age of 34, I would like it to be between $100,000 and $120,000.
50K or up.
Okay. Do you want to just say 50K?
Yeah. Let's say 50K.
Oh, I'd like it to.
Wait, what is she? Hold on, I'm sitting here listening.
Realistically.
At this current point in time?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay. At this current point in time, at the age of 34, I would like it to be between $100,000 and $120,000.
Jesus.
50K or up.
Okay. Do you want to just say 50K?
Yeah. Let's say 50K.
Over 100.
Jesus.
Okay. So give me one number. Do you want to do 120, 100?
Let's do 120.
120.
I would say then I would want someone to make about, you know, then 70, probably 75.
Did she get her non-rich friends for this video?
Like I said, it doesn't really matter if they're able to pay their own bills and they're able to support themselves financially. That's what's important. Like I said, it's not really that much of a factor because income is so relative to where you are in your career, whether you just got out of school and you're pursuing a medical job, or if you're in like a business type industry like I am, like in financial services of sorts. It really varies, you know. But I'm not gonna put a number on it because it's too variable. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Because it's discriminatory to judge a guy based on how much money he makes.
Okay,
wow.
so we can kind of go off that. Say he graduated college when he turned, what, 21, 22? So he's like 8 years, 9 years out of college. He's 30 years old. He's had 9 years to establish himself. What is an income that you would feel comfortable living your lifestyle on at the moment if he's 30?
If he's 30 and he's been working for almost 10 years, maybe 150 to 200 for his work experience.
Wait, how did
So
she?
150.
How did she move?
But you also said you think it's discriminatory.
It
to
is,
put a
but you're
number on
making me
it.
put a number on it. So with somebody that's got
Wait,
10
what
years
happened?
of work experience, they should be getting compensated well for the time that they put in and the amount of years of experience that they have in that field if they've stayed with the same field.
What do you think is the median income for the age that you specified? So 35, if you had to guess.
Like 70?
Jeez.
Actually, 52,000.
Okay.
Does that surprise you?
It does.
Lower
It's a
than
little
you
lower.
thought?
It's a little lower than I thought, yeah.
Okay, so 15% of men are 35 making 120.
Hard to find.
It's a small percentage.
Yes, it is.
Right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely more than some people, but
For age 34.
Why watch more of these
That's
videos?
tough.
Were you cool with creating incels now?
Yep.
Or were you just ready to need another anti-misogyny arc?
You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. Are you guys ready? I'm going to trigger the fuck out of all of you. This is what I said when I say this a lot and people get really triggered. I always said that even when I was working poor, and I'm totally admitting this is just my life experience, okay? When I was working poor, gas prices were never a make or break for me. Like when I think of like, I can't afford to live, I'm losing my house, etc. It was never like, oh my God, I spend so much on gas. It's just never been a factor for me. But I know that like, but it was strange during the Biden stuff. Like everybody seemed to obsess over like gas prices. Now people are also saying that maybe the cost of like other food goes up when gas goes up. I guess maybe. But when I was working, I always drove small cars. The one thing that always triggered the fuck out of me when I saw people complain about gas prices climbing was, why the fuck are so many poor dumb fuck Americans crying about gas when all of you guys drive trucks? It was the one thing that I never understood. I could never, ever, ever get it. All of these people would cry about gas prices, and they're driving these huge, disgusting trucks. And I'm like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you when you tell me that gas is expensive and it's hurting you when you drive these gas-guzzling monster fuck vehicles. Fuck all of you. And I drove around my little Dodge Neon, my little Volkswagen GTI, my little whatever. I don't know. That was my thing. I think that the Zoomer equivalent of that, ready? Here you go. Here it goes. Here we go. If you DoorDash more than once a month, I don't think you can ever complain about inflation. Boom. There you go. If you DoorDash more than once a month, I cannot believe how expensive it is. How much do you think I spent yesterday? I got yesterday when I DoorDashed my cheeseburger from Five Guys. I got a double cheeseburger with bacon. I got a small fry, and I got a Coke Zero. How much do you think that costs? I don't know why I asked all chat. Now you all spam every fucking number. For that one meal, it cost me $39. I'm pretty sure that if I really tried, I'm pretty sure that I could live off less than $100 a month in groceries. If I really stretched. I think I could. $25 a week? Probably not on Miami Beach. If I'm doing like rice and beans and shit, we're stretching. But I know for $200 a month, very easily, I could live off of $200 a month for groceries.
What's up, Destiny? Can you say
easily?
Happy birthday, Jonathan.
The idea that I, as one person on one single meal, can easily spend $30 or $40 on like one DoorDash fucking not even a great meal, is fucking wild. It's absolutely fucking wild. How much does the meal cost if you go to the place? I don't know. For some reason on DoorDash, for all these meal things, it's literally like $15, $20 in markups on like random shit. But anyway, yeah. Fucking Zoomers that do that shit are wild and then complain about inflation. How long was your commute when you were working poor? If you had an hour or two commute due to traffic, that's a lot of gas to go through being stuck on $4.95. $4.95? I don't know what that means. Back then it was $5.15 an hour, $5.25 an hour, I think, when I worked at McDonald's. I actually commuted. I'm trying to think. I lived in South Omaha off of 42nd and L, so it was 42nd and L to the casino. Although I lived up at 108th and Maple before in Omaha. Probably like a 30-minute commute. It was a decent commute, I think. It took me about 20-30 minutes, which is like a decent Midwest commute. Now, if you live in any of your cities, it's like 2 hours to go fucking 10 miles. But in Nebraska, I think you could do over a mile a minute, I think, depending where you're going, because you just hop on the interstate and it's not like super crowded. But yeah, I always drove compacts. I always drove small cars. I never understood people that drove, like, when I see one person sitting in a minivan or an SUV, I'm just like thinking, like, what the fuck are you doing? It's just, it blows my mind.
Because it's not my own age. Maybe 70,000.
Bro, the price here is $7 per gallon. The average monthly wage is €1,000. Listen, I'm not speaking about European gas prices. Okay, I don't know anything about your shit. Fuck you. Destiny, my family is all working poor and they have to drive a lot for their small business. Family works in the landscape. Yeah, if you have to do that shit, it's probably different, right? I don't think gas prices were high in my carpet cleaning days, but I imagine if they went up there for the carpet cleaning van, gas prices would probably start to get pretty shitty, but.
Maybe 65.
It is $50,000.
I could see that being real.
Okay, 100,000 at age 34 is the top 17% of men.
That feels like better odds.
Yeah.
I feel good about that.
Do you have to pay gas for your van?
80,000?
It's actually 45,000.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Obviously not.
Does that shock you?
Did I tell you? I didn't realize the game to be played. I thought I got ripped off on my carpet cleaning shit. Because my wages, by the time I factored in everything, I'm not going to tell this story, but like by the time I factored in how much time I was spending at my carpet cleaning job. I was basically making like $250 an hour. I was kind of fucked. And I was like, my life is getting destroyed over this shit job. I didn't realize, and I don't know if this is true of all small businesses, I didn't realize that you were supposed to be stealing from the fucking company though. And they had like fucking priced that in basically. That people would take their carpet cleaning vans, they would drive out and they would sell jobs at massively discounted rates to customers, but they would pocket all the money. I didn't know that people were doing that. Because I had always wondered, like, how the fuck do you guys make a living doing all this carpet cleaning shit? And it's like, oh, we sell jobs out of our vans without like telling the boss. It's like, oh, well, fuck me, I'm a fucking retard. So you might charge a customer like $300 for a job, and my commission was 16%. So for a $300 job, it's probably taking you 3 to 4 hours, and I'd make $16 an hour for those 3 to 4 hours, but it doesn't include downtime before or after. So I might make, we'll say $48 on a $300 job. However, another person would go and sell that same job for $200. They'd give them a $100 discount. So customer saves 1/3 right off the top, but then they pocket the whole job. So I'm making, you know, 30, 40 bucks off a job. Another guy might make $200 off that job, and he's not telling the boss about it. I didn't know any of that shit. Like, fuck, I didn't know that until like the end of my carpet cleaning days. I don't know if everybody does that in small business shit or like contractor work where you just like sell jobs out of your own shit. But fuck. As a personal trainer, people try to do that all the time. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Oh, a guy did it to me when I talked to a personal trainer at the fucking in California. He's like, oh, dude, I can train you at like a different gym, but we can't do it here, and you can't tell anybody. It's like, oh, okay. It's, I know this game. I've heard of this one before.
It does, because I've worked my entire career. I've worked around people that have made 6 figures out the gate, starting in my field. So, income-wise, I guess.
What's our field again?
I am a little sheltered because I've been around young people that are in high income earning positions from such a young age, and they only grow with their success.
She works in insurance?
Because that's all I know. Like I've been in my industry for quite a few years now. Like that's all I know. I'm not really paying attention to like what's outside of that. So
the median income, I'm gonna go with 82,000.
It's 42,000 for a 28-year-old.
Wow.
And why does that shock you?
I think, and I could attribute it to maybe the industry that I'm in and the people that I've really been surrounded with my whole career. I've worked in finance my whole life, and I guess I'm making an assumption here that maybe the median is higher in that field, but I guess I just assumed that, you know, at 20, I don't know, 42 just seems very low, especially given like inflation and all of that. Just like, it's 2023, I would assume that a 28-year-old was making more than 42.
Damn.
I don't know, it surprises me.
How much do you make?
So your own experience, the people you're around, people you've dated, all kind of contribute to why you're assuming that.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. So if we're looking at a 28-year-old making 75K, as you mentioned, that's the 81st percentile. So 19% of men, essentially, are making that amount at 28.
I'm pretty sure. I thought that the median income overall was 40K in the US.
Okay.
And so I'm going to guess for the average 27-year-old, although the average 27-year-old in our generation, probably a lot more college degrees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot more people go to college now.
Yeah, I'll say 55.
It's 41.
I knew it! What did I said 42?
Oh my God, chill.
You were close.
I knew it.
I mean, 50 is still pretty close.
It is.
But it's actually crazy because the median income never eclipses $61,000 regardless of the age. That's in the workforce between ages 16 and 75.
But we love capitalism, don't we? I'm not gonna bring that into your video, so I gotta put that out.
I appreciate
that. You can put it in if you want, but I got feelings. Again, that's not on my partner, that's on society.
Right. Over 70%
Does anyone else
of men never
capitalism?
even make 100K once in their lifetime.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
Does it surprise you?
No.
No.
No. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps is false. It's not fucking true.
Wow.
The top 1% are the top 1% for a reason.
Wow.
Not all of us can possibly make that much money. Stats like this need to be made known, because I think a lot of women are like led to believe that it's easy to make that much money, and then it's easy for a man to make that much money. Like, bitch, if it's hard for you to make that much money, it's hard for him to make that much money. I mean, it's harder for you because women are always going to make less. Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now.
Did
For
she
you
just
to make
say
that much,
bitch?
to believe that
Did she
it's
say?
easy
Wait, did you really call her?
to make that much money, and then it's easy for a man to make that much money. Like, bitch, if it's hard for you to make that much money, it's hard for him.
She said, bitch.
make that much money. I mean, it's harder
Right.
for you because women are always going to make less. Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. But that doesn't surprise me at all. And I would never expect someone to eventually make that much money over the course of their life. I'm just trying to live a comfortable life. I'm not trying to get too extravagant.
It is shocking. Well, maybe companies need to start paying people proportionally to things like inflation, rising costs of housing, rising costs of taxes, because putting people in those types of positions long term is not going to be good, because you can only live
Just found out about wages, man. Shit sucks.
Start becoming unaffordable. So expecting somebody to work 50 years of their life and not make more than $60,000 is kind of unrealistic for how expensive things are getting and will continue to get for people.
Yeah, like out of college, my first job, I think I made 35 or 37K. Like my first job out of college, which is less than the median, which is crazy to think about. But over 70% of men never even make 100K once in their lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you're 24 already making that yourself, then when you're looking at the dating pool, it's like you expect people to be at that level too because you are. And I think that's kind of the tunnel vision that a lot of people have, or just their like little bubble of life, you know, like.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like I said, it's an
Bubble.
unfair judgment to put a number on what you think a guy is supposed to make, because it varies so much depending on what you do for a living, how long you've been working, what field you're in. You know, that those are not really fair like questions or numbers to like put on somebody, because it varies. I mean, like if that's your lifestyle and that's what you're comfortable with, then yeah, you're gonna go for somebody that. If I'm in my lifestyle and I've been doing this and I want somebody in my field almost, then yeah, there's like some expectations for that, because I, you know. That's just like what it is, because every field is a little bit different. Like if both, like think about it, like 2-income household, if both people are teachers and they're making an average of $45,000 a year, they're
Where is
bringing
she
home
from?
$90,000 collectively as a household to support both of their lifestyles, pay taxes, pay their mortgage, those sort of things. It's
What
all
is his
relative
accent?
to what both people
Minnesota?
are doing, and I do
Jesus.
see that. You know, in my field, because I do work on a client-to-client basis, I see people's incomes. And I think that some of them are disproportionate to their age and their work experience. However, I do feel like the people that they choose to be with and marry and be in relationships with, both incomes are similar. I see that.
Oh, that's interesting. Because you work with,
I work with people on a client-to-client basis, so I see the income.
And it's normally kind of proportionate. Like
it is proportionate.
Equivalent, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I think that's why some guys get upset, because there's like girls who don't want to work or don't make any money, and then they want a guy to make $1 million.
Yeah, that's not fair. Yeah, no, that's not fair. I mean, like if you're...
It's interesting that she works, so what she just said is actually true, right? That people tend to date with an income. Everybody... Like, I mean, it's easy. It's kind of like an easy common sense thing when you think about it, because like all these red pill guys are like, oh no, girls want all girls want guys making 6 figures. It's like there's not that many guys. Like there's not that many guys to go around, my dude. People tend to date within their income ranges.
If you're not putting your end of your work in, it's not gonna work.
We'll go 55.
42,000 for a 28-year-old.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah.
And if we're looking, let's see, you said 50,000.
So deflated.
40% of men make that.
Okay. I mean,
so
it's not bad.
The odds are kind of in your favor. I mean, it's like almost half, you know?
Yeah. I also think too that like jobs don't pay nearly what they should in like any profession, so it's just like, oh, it's sad to hear that.
I know.
Like 42K is the average for like a 28-year-old. Like, wow.
Yeah, and then like regardless of age, so between 16 and 75, the median income never eclipses $61,000, regardless of the age.
Wow.
If we're looking at medians. Which I think median is a better thing to use here instead of averages, because the averages include like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, who are making
billions,
buttloads of money. So it kind of sways the data, you know?
Yeah.
And then over 70% of men never even make 100K once in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Which is sad when you hear it, because I just know so many men in my life who work so hard their entire life.
Yeah.
And they never will ever make that amount of money.
And that's like, and it's depending on how well educated those men are too. Like, college plays a huge factor. Like, well, okay, what's the point of going to college then?
Right.
You know, college promotes you like, oh, you'll have a better job and you'll have a better income, and then you go to college and you get out of college and you're like, no, like I'm not making what I was told I would be making.
The average salary for a master's degree is like $69,000. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, and then you have a ton of debt from going to school.
And then you're constantly playing catch up, and then you're not even making what you were told to be making, and that just, it's infuriating. It's infuriating, and that's a whole other topic we'll probably get into about like the education system and just higher education. Is like, is it really worth it almost to go back to school?
Right.
All right, so now I'm really even like, oh man, I really shouldn't judge anybody for how much they make, because I'm like, oh my god, we're all struggling out here.
I know. Well, and I think that too. Like a lot of people don't know that, and they're so hard on themselves. They're so hard on other people because they don't know the reality.
Yeah.
Right. And like what you're asking for in a partner, I think a lot of people have these unrealistic standards of what they want their ideal partner to be like. Right. It's like we're going to Whole Foods buying groceries. It's the checklist of what we want someone to be, but. When you figure out the reality of what you're asking for, it's like, whoa, no wonder I'm not having luck because I'm asking for crazy stuff.
Yeah, like that is unreal. And like at the end of the day, this
is something I strongly believe in. I don't believe that happens. I don't believe. I am a firm believer. Actually, not a believer. This is one of the few things that I've learned in life. Okay, I think I talked about this on some other show I was on recently. People will date a surprisingly diverse group of people if they click. The number one way that I've seen this, that I kind of talk around this, is that like whenever somebody says like, oh, like I'm not looking to date anybody right now, or, oh, I would never date XYZ type of person, they absolutely would, given the right circumstances. They absolutely would. People say things like, oh yeah, I would never date like my friend's ex, or I would never date like in my friend group or whatever. But as soon as they find the right person, they'll do it. I don't believe that there's a girl that could like meet a guy, they get along, they click super well, everything's fine, and then she's like, oh no, he's only earning $75K a year, like it's not gonna work. I don't think that ever, I just don't believe that ever happens. I super don't believe it.
My god, like me and my partner aren't making that much money. As long as we're happy together, that's fine. I mean, with those statistics too, it's almost like, oh my god, how do you even find somebody that's making, how do I even make 3 or 6 figures one day? Like, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get there myself. So who am I to judge, you know?
It's kind of crazy because the median income, regardless of the age, so you said 33, but regardless of the age, it never eclipses $61,000 across the board. And then over 70% of men.
How does he still pull up his logged in account on stream? Wait, did somebody use Streamlink or something? Destiny, how about you just preach what you walk? Good one.
Okay, once in their lifetime. Just kind of crazy.
What I think is interesting about this is that these women work and their answers are so reasonable compared to the women in previous videos. I can say things where like, I don't actually want to. I don't know. Well, it sounds mean, and I could be post-talking it. I was going to say something at the beginning, but maybe what somebody said in chat influenced me already. When I look at these women...
Crazy to think about.
I guess it's probably...
No, I can't even when I say this. It feels like I'm post-talking this so bad. But like, I feel like when I look at these women...
To like put on believe that it's easy to...
Like these women look to me like they're like middle-class women. That they just, I don't know why or how.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Or maybe I can't. We should do like a thing where I look at videos and try to guess the income. When I look at the, I'm not saying they look ugly. I'm just saying there's like a, when I looked at the, oh.
Fully off of your, sure. What percent?
This person, I don't know why. This person just looks rich to me. I could be wrong, and maybe there's like a bias, but like I would see this person like, oh shit, like your parents are lawyers and they're the poorest ones in your family tree probably. Like that's how wealthy this person looks. I don't know if it's like the perfect teeth, if it's like the perfect hair, the perfect skin, the like the kind of like fashionable clothing, the just the like
of the family.
And I think almost everybody in these videos looked like.
I feel
like these people all look rich. I don't know if it's designer clothes. I don't know, or like the jerseys. They just look. All of these people look like they come from very, very, very wealthy backgrounds.
Lens would be super cool.
Like like very prep school, very not like new money, like wealthy families. That's like the impression I get. And then these people are all saying things like like, oh, like I want my husband to have like 500K in income and shit. But then I look at them like, yeah, you guys all look like, you guys look really wealthy. Whereas for some reason I feel like these people don't as much. But I could also just be post-talking all of that. Maybe I just make this all up in my head. I don't know.
Everything you see on the internet, take with a grain of salt for the most part, because you can work from home and not wear any pants and still have a nice shirt on and no one's gonna know. So really perception is reality, and you got.
So I'm saying you don't know why, you know what you're looking for, clothes, makeup, and so on. Yeah, but it's not it's not just that. I feel like when you're wealthy, I think that you have there's probably two things going on. One is kind of shitty, is you probably are working with a higher set of genetics, get mad. But second is you can afford a lot of stuff for your kids relating to their health that probably comes out in appearance wise. Like, so for instance, like your teeth, like wealthy people always have like perfect teeth for their kids because they're always getting like braces, they're making sure they've got good dental health. You're never gonna find like if you go to like a prep school or like a private college or even for expensive state schools, you're not gonna find people like fucked up teeth. That just doesn't happen. Like incredibly rare. So that's usually a thing. Their clothes oftentimes look very new and nice. Not necessarily, like, I'm not talking like Gucci or Prada, like designer shit. If anything, those people come off as poorer to me, or like they're trying to flaunt some bullshit that a guy bought them or whatever. But they just look like very nice. Like I feel like I could go to like an alumni function event or some shit, and I would see them sitting there with like their wealthy parents. Like there's just like a way that they look, where it's like, damn, these are like prep school kids, super wealthy prep school kids. That's what it looks like to me. But also, oh, and the way they speak, very educated. They speak very well. Yeah. But I could be post-talking literally all of that. I could be post-talking everything I just said there. So, yeah, I don't know.
Got to take it for what it is.
He has thought a lot about this. I went to a wealthy prep school, and the girls that I dated came from other wealthy prep schools when I went to college. No, not college, high school. I went to Creighton Prep in Omaha, and then like all the girls I dated and everything came from like Marianne Duchesne and Mercy? Was that the other all-girls high school? And people at prep schools, because my friend Chris, was like a poor Mexican dude. He sold weed. So we would always make, and my family background by the time I got to high school was fucked. We were getting kicked out of houses and shit. So me and him would always, it was probably a cope, I guess, when we were younger, but we would always make fun of like prep kids and how prep kids looked and their lifestyles and their families, whatever. Like when we go to like Kyle's house, like his mom is like making dinner in their big house for their family that's like all perfect and everything, and then me and Chris would go drive around and like fuck around and just do wild stupid shit because our lives were fucking weird as fuck. But there was like, it was a very different world. Like wealthy people just live in like a different kind of world and ecosystem. Everything in their lives are different. Their cars are nicer. They don't have check engine lights on all the time. None of their phones are getting shut off. They've always got one parent in the household checking on you, making sure everything is okay and cooking meals for you. Their siblings are always like in sports after school and shit. It's like a whole different world when you've got like wealthy families versus like kind of like busted families. I don't know how to explain it, but like, because I kind of had like one foot in both worlds when I was doing school, and you kind of see like the differences in lifestyles, I guess. It's a whole different ecosystem of existence between like wealthy prep families versus, but I'm saying prep because I went to prep. I mean, I'm sure there's like billionaire families and everything, but yeah, it's just like a totally different, yeah.
No,
Why did you say middle to upper class are better genetics? Is there any empirical evidence to this? It would just be a guess in terms of like how people find mates and have children and all of that. There's probably some genetic like shit that is like moving through different lines. That would be my guess in terms of things related to like physical health, things related to mental health, etc. Just a guess. I could be wrong, but
I chose 120 just because of my income myself, the lifestyle that I mean, I'm single. I have a child, so we live. I already have. I'm 30.
What's your income?
I already have my ways set and
I'm
what
so
I enjoy
curious.
doing, and I know how much that costs to do. So I want to live comfortably. I want to be able to have fun.
Is this a single mom earning $100K?
And
Jesus.
do things and not be just like stuck. And I want to have nice things. I don't want to live out of my means, but I just want to have nice things.
Got it. Yeah, especially because, you know, money is the #1 cause of divorce. It's like, I don't even want to mess with that.
Yeah, I mean,
is money the #1 cause of divorce?
I would.
I'm curious if the stat is on it. I feel like I've looked at different things and I've never seen that before.
And everything must be very great too.
So what else would he have to have going for him in order for you to be okay with that?
He would have to just be a really great guy, be able to get along with my family, be a great family person. I'm very family oriented, so I want him to, you know, at least be able to have the same going for him. Maybe he doesn't have a family, that's okay. At least be like putting my family first as well. And have goals and be able to accomplish them and have a good mindset and take care of me, take care of my, like me and myself, and put me first, and just little things too. So I guess the money doesn't have to mean anything, but as long as
I saw this. The guy kicked the truck and got shot. Bro, fuck him.
So ideally,
why are you kicking another dude's car?
Makes more.
I would.
Get
like
fucked.
I hate to say this, but one of my first questions is I'm asking you how much money you make. I don't want to waste your time. Yeah.
You ask that on a first date?
Wait. I mean, yeah, I am. Before I maybe even date you.
What?
Okay, so have you gone on dates where you've asked men that?
Yes.
And what do they say?
So I have like 18 questions that I'll ask somebody when I first get to, actually it was my grandfather that asked these first 18 questions. And after he asked those first 18 questions for me to ask a man, I was like, I'm going to keep this going. I really like where this is going. And that is how I'm able to, like, you know, it's a very good 18 questions.
And you just weed people out. Yes. Sorry, you didn't check the
make
18.
it.
Do you think as a society we prepare people for grasping the concept of income or just financial literacy in general?
No, not at all. When I was going through school, you know, particularly in like high school and in college, there were no financial literacy classes. I know that they try to like teach people stuff, but you know, in my career and things that I see, people have no idea how credit works. People have no idea debt to income ratios. They have no idea how loans work. They have no idea where to even start with a lot of this stuff. And I think that's, you know, doing a disservice to people by not educating and not teaching them. But it starts at home too. If the parents aren't financially literate, they're not going to be able to teach their kids how to be financially literate. So it starts there. I mean, my parents did a really good job teaching us, like my siblings and I, about money and those sort of things. Like, I have no debt. I don't think a lot of people my age can say that.
So you're 24 and you have no debt. That's, I mean.
Yeah, I have no school debt or anything like that, because I worked really hard for scholarships, academic scholarships, so that I could put myself through school.
Well, that,
and
I mean, sorry.
not have to worry about paying back.
Okay, hold on. There's a lot of things being said at the same time here. I put myself through school. Can you say that if you get a scholarship? Do people say that? No, hold on. I'm not even going to agree with chat. Even if most of you side against me, fuck you. No, if somebody says some shit like that, I put myself through school. I'm thinking you work through school. There's nothing wrong with getting a scholarship. If you get a scholarship, that's awesome. But if somebody says, I got a scholarship, that doesn't count as putting yourself through school. Putting yourself through school means you worked and paid it off as you went through it. That's what that means. Fuck you. Even if most of you disagree with me, you're wrong. Fuck you.
Back thousands in loans for the rest of my life. Like, my parents did teach us how to be financially responsible. I can't attribute that to my upbringing. Yes, but not everybody is in that kind of a fortunate position.
Right. Yeah, and I think we can learn a lot about our society by what people don't know, and financial literacy seems to be a big one.
I
just
agree.
from interviewing people, like, most people have no idea how rare it is what they're asking for. I mean, if you're sitting here asking for a man who makes $1 million, okay, that's fine, shoot for the stars. But also, what do you bring to the table? What does that guy want from you? And understand that you're asking for
felonies.
a
I got
fraction of a
32
percent of a
felonies.
man.
I got
so if you're not
33
having success in
felonies,
your dating life,
which
well, it
I'm
could
Bill
be because
Bellamy.
You're asking for something incredibly unrealistic.
And you're not bringing the value to the table either. People want everything, but they don't want to put any effort in. If you want somebody like that, you have to be willing to bring the same level of effort that that person is pulling. Like, it, you know, you can't just expect somebody to hand you everything and you do nothing.
Be what you want to attract, right?
Yes.
Not as well as we could. I was homeschooled, so I had a lot of financial transparency within the education that I received, and I'm really grateful for, you know, to my parents for that. But I hear that, you know, the high schools, they don't really talk about personal finance. People will take courses in college, and that's mind-blowing to me, because unless you're in a business field, you're still not taking a personal finance course.
That is kind of mind-blowing that we don't teach finance in school or whatever. It is really
so
weird.
why they haven't integrated more
DA press conference on Trump Raymond in 35 minutes.
financial
Gotcha.
courses at the high school level, I think that's way more important than some of the other stuff that they're teaching.
Yeah, like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Why do I need to know that?
Right. I've never used that
Right.
other than in that class that I took. So I think that the next generation would be set up so much better if they just made a couple of changes with the education that kids are receiving.
I agree too, and just like
They make
so
you take
people
econ.
understand-
Heads up. Remember, okay, I know this sounds weird. Econ is not finance. The two have nothing to do with each other. It's like saying that, like, I'm a power lifter because I got like a PhD in biology. Econ and finance are completely separate things. They're not even remotely related to each other. They don't have anything to do with each other, okay? Not at all. They don't even deal with anything.
what they should be working towards, first of all, what's realistic, and what they're asking for in another person. I think expecting something of yourself is one thing, but when you're expecting it from another person, it's a whole new ball game, right? And you know, as a woman makes more money, she typically wants to be with someone who's at her level or above, so then that automatically limits the pool of men that you're selecting from, and you know, decreases your chance of success in your dating life. I mean, even an average master's degree salary, someone who has a master's degree, is $69,786. And think of how much debt you have after going to school. It's crazy. And I think you can learn a lot about our society by what people don't know in this case. And most people don't know the statistics.
No, I don't. I really don't. I wish they like taught about it, you know? Like I really wish they did.
You would think something so important would be something that we learn.
Especially because in society too, like it does matter. I mean, money matters as much as we want to say it doesn't. Maybe not in a dating, but like just living. I mean, you have to buy groceries, pay rent, to live on your own, to buy a car. Like everything requires money. It does. And if
Destiny,
you're
do you think anyone in
not
high school
making
would
enough of
actually
it,
pay
that's your
attention to
life is
financial
constantly stressing
literacy?
about where
I
am
hear
I
this a
getting money
lot,
from?
but I
How do
feel
I
like
make
when I
ends meet?
think
How
back
do
to
I
my
get into
public
a
school
relationship?
experience,
How do I
half
raise
of
a
these
family?
people
How do I
wouldn't
do
pay
this?
attention
And
in a course of like
that's
civics
so
either.
incredibly difficult.
Actually
and
true.
Nobody prepares
That's probably
you for
true.
that.
They
You know,
probably
we don't
wouldn't
go
pay
to school and
attention.
nobody prepares you. Like, hey, this is how the world works, and this is why money is important. This is why I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't think we were prepared at all.
No, I think also in our culture, we're so hush-hush about talking about money. And I think that we've had this whole American dream pushed on us for so long. And what does that look like? It's the money, it's the beautiful things, it's the beautiful wife, it's the picket fence and everything else. And that...
Wow, we're getting red pilled in here, guys.
What is it? What was it Hemingway that said this? That a lot of people think of themselves as just an embarrassed,
temporarily embarrassed
millionaire in waiting. Yeah, a lot of people are thinking when I win the lottery, when I do this, you know, these really unrealistic expectations. And I remember from my own upbringing and education where financial literacy isn't really pushed on you. Wasn't really taught in schools. It was learn everything except how to take care of yourself, really. And I think that's been such a detriment to a lot of people because you just see the flex in front of you. You don't see either the work behind it or the credit card debt behind it or anything else behind it. The only advice I really got was if you can't pay off the credit card bill every month all the way, cut up the credit card.
True.
But we are such a consumer society that it's hard for people to not want to, again, you know, feed into this idea that new is better, and it's, you know, giving us a serotonin hit of new shiny things and not really understanding that that's temporary, but that debt is there.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people also don't know, like, some of the most wealthy people in the world are the most depressed. And just because you have all these nice things or make all this money, I mean, to a certain threshold, life really doesn't get much better for you.
Right.
Once you have a certain amount of things. Of course, it's nice to be, you know, not having to worry about bills and being paycheck to paycheck. But after that, it's kind of just like,
now what?
Yeah.
And if you don't have hobbies or goals or things that get you excited about getting up for the day, then you're gonna be unhappy. And again, money isn't
Okay, do we need their life philosophies? Are we done with
In
this?
my younger days, it was, yeah, sure, I would definitely have I've fell into that fantasy before, and then...
Okay, we're going on this.
What a fuck.